I would say that Houston has the advantage. And you guys know in football, I don't know how you compare it. What's a team that kind of punches you in the face early and it takes time to settle in against them? And then once you settle in, you kind of have a better feel, but you can't simulate that in your practices. That's what this Houston team is in terms of especially a quick turnaround where you got 36 hours to kind of get ready for this rock fight. I think that's going to be an interesting first 4 minutes. I like Houston.
First five, last five is what we chat about, and that's whenever you find out if what you thought you had on film is reality. And you talk about that Houston team, they seemingly are relentless by design. AP Tone has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, I do, Coach. I saw a tweet or a post from their director of sports performance, Alan Bishop. Their average mile time was 5 minutes and 19 seconds, and as you could see from this picture, every single dude on their team has a 12-pack, is absolutely jacked. Like, what does that do for a team? And
that looks like a football team,
right?
AJ. Facts. That looks like a football team in there.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, they come back with the late performance yesterday. Like, they obviously just don't run out of gas late, I assume. And how big is that for them?
Oh, I think it's huge. I mean, just look, that's their identity. That's their mentality. That's Kelvin's mentality. You got to understand, Kelvin's an underdog himself. I mean, he was a graduate assistant to Judd Heathcote at Washington at Michigan State. He went from Montana Tech to Washington State. I mean, that guy his journey's been unbelievable. Two coaches with two very different journeys. But the one thing that's always been consistent with Kelvin, the physicality is of his team. And he challenges them mentally, emotionally, physically, and he gets incredible buy-in. Like, those guys think they're the baddest asses on the floor. All right? I mean,
they should.
Look, they practice with a rebound bubble. So I want to put this in perspective. So they practice with a bubble on the rim. Now, Pat, when you have a bubble on the rim, you can never make a shot. All right? So every shot is a miss. So when the ball comes off, it's absolutely the funniest thing to watch because you got just bodies flying all over the place. You know, in the old days, Tom will talk about practicing in shoulder pads. Like, their whole practice, there's right and wrong. There's no in between. Almost right is wrong. Like, Kelvin Sampson coaches those guys. He is not afraid of anything, nor are they. You're watching this video. That is a typical practice. This isn't made for TV. All right? This is like real. Like, if you don't hit the floor, you have a problem. Jeez. And Kelvin, he might be a little older, but he can get as nasty as anyone. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
He can get right up there.
You getting in the drill?
I assume that's the case. I watch him. Yeah, is he getting the ball? Is he chewing him out? Probably. I watched him do a press conference after the Final Four, and he talked about how we don't have a bunch of cliche sayings. All his assistant coaches have come up through his program, and he says there's only one word that's out there, and it's culture. And it's like basically everybody understands what it is. You see that weight room photo? I mean, look at him coming in dancing. That's an awesome moment with his team. I assume that feels immaculate, especially smacking your team into the national championship. Good for Houston, especially down there in Texas, San Antonio. But whenever you see this team and you hear everything about it and you watch that practice, it's like, that's a brotherhood. You know, Duke talked about a brotherhood, not that it is, but that's how you kind of build the bond. That's how you build the chemistry. If you sweat together, bleed together, I assume, as they're diving on the board, and work out together, that's where you really build it. I'm pulling for them. I like this Houston team. Not that I don't like the Florida team, but I like the way they're built. D-Bud has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you about these coaching matchups. We're obviously talking about Kelvin Sampson, been around the game for a long, long time, 69 years old. And on the other side, you got Coach Todd Golden, 39 years old. Both very tough teams, but a big age gap. Who do you kind of – I know you've been high on Florida since the beginning, but who do you kind of trust more coaching side? We always talk about nerves from the players, but what about the coaches in this matchup? Who are you leaning to in that matchup?
Yeah, that's a tough one because, like, Kelvin Sampson, like, think about a minute 14 to go. They're down 6 points. He didn't foul. He trusted his culture. He said, we're going to get a stop. Technical foul was made. They're down 6. Tugler gets a block. They come down, knock down a 3. I mean, Kelvin orchestrated. He's going to manipulate matchups. That's why I talk about going at Clayton. Todd Golden, and I know him pretty well, he's got some swag to him. Like that dude, he can really coach. I mean, like, really coach, but he's like the next generation. Like, he's got a standard. There's an accountability. His practices are brutal, very similar, not as physical, but that dude is cutting edge. In fact, I talked to a guy that he worked for when he was an assistant at Columbia, and he had to bring him into the office. And Todd Golden's a real analytics guy. So, and his former coach Kyle Smith, who was was the head coach at Stanford now. He said when he was first at Columbia, he came to the office one day and said, if you guys worked as hard at working guys out as you did with your fantasy baseball lineups and figuring out all the numbers, he said, we'd have a better damn team. He was in analytics way back then, like working on his fantasy baseball team. So, like, he's cutting edge when it comes to analytics. He sees the game through an interesting prism. He totally changed the system, playing for Randy Bennett, who's kind of a coach that really controls, plays tempo. Kyle Smith's been a little bit more progressive. This dude went from playing that, but having a little bit of a swag and a little difference to him, to basically playing like old school Arizona. 3 guards that play fast, they play with freedom, they attack you, and those 2 bigs that protect the rim are screeners and rim rollers. So Kelvin's got more experience. This guy on the left of my screen, probably the right of your guy's screen, he don't fear anything. Like, he don't fear, he's got something in him.
I also like that he turns to the crowd and does this number. Yeah. He is a, hey, let's make some noise, boys. Todd Golden. Yeah, it is LaFleur-like. And, I was introduced to him during the tournament. I'm like, wow, that's a child there. Okay, so he's 39 years old. He must lotion. He does well. He must be a moisturizer. He looks very, very good.
Arizona guys from Arizona, moisturizer.
A lot of vitamin D. Yeah, it makes sense. Haven't seen the sun in a while. Okay, 4 ones make their way to the Final Four. Obviously, that was kind of the discussion of this particular tournament, which leads to Conman has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Seth, early everyone's pissed off. No Cinderellas. It's all chalk. This is the worst March Madness. But now it feels like, especially, last weekend and this weekend, that these games have just been unbelievable. Do you feel like, because it has been all chalk, that this has turned into one of the most competitive, best March Madnesses that we've had yet? Or do you think people are always going to, bitch and moan about something when it comes to sports?
People are going to bitch and moan about something, but to me, this is good on good, man. I mean, you work your way to the Super Bowl. You want the 2 best teams. If you look at these teams' body of work during the course of the year, what do you say? They separated themselves. I want to see the best dudes play against the best dudes on the biggest stage. Plain and simple. And, that's fine. We can get some upsets in the first and second round. That's great. In the end, I want to see good on good. Like when we practiced, I didn't practice against the gold team, a bunch of walk-ins. No, I wanted my goods against the other goods to find out just how good we were. This is the future of college basketball. If you look at the rosters, there's not a freshman playing in this game. There's not a freshman playing in this game. You got 13 of the 16 guys that play are retained, which means they stayed in school at the same school. Now think about that. Stayed at school, but stayed at the same school, right? These teams are invested. I'm all into the good on good. I'm all into guys having shared experiences, but I'm also into let's put the 2 best teams that have earned their way in, and let's throw that thing up and let's get after it.
We always want to find out who the absolute best is in any tournament, and it feels like we got everybody's best team Duke the hell out. Everybody's talking about this Duke team being untouchable, seemingly. And now they're gone, which I liked Shire coming on the show. I liked the Duke team. I enjoyed watching them. But that Houston win, everybody's saying Duke choked away. It's like Houston also was prepared for the moment in a big way. Can't wait to see what they do against Florida tonight. Can't wait to watch game day. What time are you guys on?
We're on at, what are we on, 5 o'clock here, so 6 o'clock back there. I think that's what it is. I think that's right. I don't know. They're going to pick me up at 3:50. I don't know. I just show up. I mean, the light goes on, I talk, and then they send me on my way. Hey, Pat, by the way, your deal to London and back, I have to admit, you talk about a beast, dude. You're a beast. Like, you could play for me.
All right. Thank you.
I never coached the kicker. I never coached the kicker. But if I had a kicker on my team, you'd have no problem playing for me because you understand the grind.
Hey, and I will smack the wood, and anything you need from me. 3 and D, you got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll watch him at 6 o'clock Eastern, we think, on College Game Day for the National Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Seth Greenberg.
Yeah, Coach.